everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is the Do I Have That Book challenge. And the answer to the question, do I have that book, is yes, I do. This tag was created by keeping tabs and I saw it first on Books and Lala's channel and a bunch of other people have done it since then and it looked really fun, so I decided I would do it too. I will link the original video down below as well and I definitely recommend that you also check that one out. Okay, so, yep, just drop your phone on the ground. Okay, the first challenge is, do you have a book with deckled edges? And I have many books with deckled edges, but the one that was closest to me at the time is The Tropic of Serpents by Marie Brennan, which is the second in the Lady Trent series, and it has deckled edges. Do you have a book with 3 or more people on the cover? Again, I have many, but the one that was closest to me was The Last Jedi novelization by Jason Fry. I forgot that this only had literally 3 people. I was thinking, right, Star Wars books are going to have like a dozen on all of them, and then this one only just made it. But do you have a book based on another fictional story? Again, I have heaps. But the one I pulled out for this video is Pride by E.B. Savoy, which is a retelling slash remix of Pride and Prejudice. Do you have a book with a title that is exactly 10 letters long? I do. It is Summerskin by Kirsty Eager. Do you have a book with a title that starts and ends with the same letter? I do. I was originally going to pick Alana by Tamora Pierce for this challenge because I couldn't think of anything else. And then I decided that that was like easy mode and I wanted to try and find something that was a little bit more challenging. But I did, and the book I have for this is The Secret Diary of Lizzie Bennet. T and T. Do you have a mass market paperback book? Of course I do. The one I have for this challenge is The Soldier's Scoundrel by Cat Sebastian. Do you have a book written by an author using a pen name? Of course I do. Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, also known as Sean Ann Maguire. Do you have a book with a character's name in the title? Seraphina by Rachel Hartman. Do you have a book with 2 maps in it? The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay, I've just checked and awkwardly, this edition does not in fact have 2 maps in it. It only has 1 fold-out map in the back of Beleriand, but my other edition of the Silmarillion has like 5 or 6 maps in the back. So it still counts, just not this specific one. My apologies. Do you have a book that has been made into a TV show? I have several. The one that was closest to me is Elfstones of Shannara by Terry Brooks, which was made into the Shannara Chronicles. Do you have a book written by someone who was originally famous for doing something else? And the Ass Saw the Angel by Nick Cave, who is a singer. He was the singer and frontman for a band called Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. I've only ever heard one of their songs and it was the one that they did with Kylie Minogue. But yeah, I have his book. I haven't read it yet, but it sounds kind of interesting. Yeah, it's probably going to be fucking weird if I'm honest. But it's one day maybe, when I want to be weirded out. Do you have a book with a clock on the cover? I own several steampunk books, so I thought this would be a really easy one, but it was actually really, really hard because the books all have like gears on the front, but not clocks. But I did find this one, which is called The Girl in the Clockwork Collar, which has a tiny clock right there. Do you have a poetry book? I do. This one is Milk Teeth by Ray White, who is a non-binary Australian poet. Do you have a book with an award stamp on it? Becoming Kiralee Lewis by Jane Harrison, which won the State Library of Queensland Black and Right Prize. Do you have a book written by an author with the same initials as you? I actually had to go through my Goodreads list to find one of these because I couldn't think of any off the top of my head, but I do. And her name is Lindsay Fay. Do you have a book of short stories? I do. This one is 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, edited by Ellen O and Elsie Chapman. It is 15 retellings of Asian myths and legends by 15 Asian authors. Do you have a book that is between 500 and 510 pages long? This was so hard. It was honestly so hard. Every book that you think has 500 pages has way more than that or way less, but I did find one, and it is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, which has 506 pages, not including the like book club reading materials at the back. But they don't have page numbers, so still counts. Do you have a book that has been made into a movie? Arguably not a very good movie, but I have The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman, also called Northern Lights if you're a purist. Although, do you know what? I actually quite like this movie, so YMMV. Second last question, do you have a graphic novel? obviously. This one is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, which I have been wanting to reread for a few weeks now, but now that I have it out, I might just do that. And then the last question for this challenge is, do you have a book written by 2 or more authors? Which would have been easy, but when I was writing down the questions, I accidentally wrote it down as, do you have a book by 3 or more authors? And that was significantly harder, but I did find one. And that is this coffee table book called Queer. It is by Simon Gage, Lisa Richards, and Howard Wilmot, with a foreword by Boy George, so 3 or 4 authors, depending on how you look at it. I haven't read this one either, but at this point, are you really surprised? That is the Do I Have That Book challenge? And again, the answer is yes, I do have that book. I usually don't tag people for tags or challenges, but to keep up with the spirit of the thing, if you know your rising sign, you are tagged. That's all I have for you for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have done this challenge yourself, feel free to link it to me down below and I will definitely check it out. Feel free to leave me a comment if you've read any of these books or just have anything to say, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.